Welcome to the Empowered Aging Podcast. Your host is Michelle, a physical therapist passionate about helping older adults stay active, mobile, and independent. Let's dive into today's topic.
Today I want to talk more about falling. You guys know this is near and dear to my heart. But more specifically, I want to talk about what happens after a fall. And I'm not talking about the bruises and maybe even the breaks that happen, but I'm talking about that fear. Because a lot of times that is actually more evident, more to the surface. The more crucial thing that people experience is once that bruise is kind of gone or whatever, that fear, it stays. And it's hard to get over that. And that fear then leads to other things, right? So I want you guys to be able to regain your confidence and stay independent. And so that's what I do. That is my mission in life, is to help everybody learn how to get on and off the floor so that they can feel more comfortable and have less fear of the falling. Because after a fall, really, it's not the pain that people talk to me about as much as it is the fear that it's going to happen again. So, once someone falls, it really changes how they see themselves. They start to worry about doing things that they normally would do, getting in and out of the car, or going shopping. What if they fall when they're shopping? What if they fall when they're taking care of their grandchildren or out in the yard where maybe nobody will see them? So that fear overtakes so much and comes to the top of the mind where they start not wanting to do things because they're just too afraid. So that fear of falling becomes more limiting than the actual fall itself. Then that next step is, so they start going out less. They start isolating themselves because they're afraid to go out. And, maybe they can go out with their friends. Maybe if a friend could help them or a family member, maybe if they can carry me to this or that, they would go. But then they start relying on other people more. They can't find themselves doing it themselves. They don't trust themselves. They're too fearful of falling, and so they stop going. Whether it's a social activity or a therapeutic activity. I have clients who really would benefit from attending other activities like classes, exercise classes, or therapies, and they're too afraid to take themselves. And then they don't want to rely on other people. Oh, so-and-so is too busy. I can't ask them. And then maybe they do ask and the person really is busy. So whether for real or not real, they stop relying, they stop asking for help. So then they stop doing as much, they start staying at home more, and you see how that decline can take over. And it's just, I can't tell you how much it breaks my heart to watch people go downhill, not because they're necessarily physically unable, though, maybe sometimes it is becoming more challenging, but really more than anything, it's that fear that they will fall again because, that's where I fell last time. I fell in that parking lot, so I can't go back because that's where I fell. That could happen anywhere, right? But becoming better at getting on and off the floor, that's just one way that we can help reduce that fear. And, confidence is something that can be built. It's not something you're just naturally born with, right? The more you practice something, the more confident you become at doing that thing. Maybe it was riding a bike or a skill of playing the guitar or playing the piano, whatever that may be, the more you did it, the more confident you felt doing it. Well, fall prevention, fall recovery, that falls in that category. The more you practice, the more confident you feel. And imagine if you were to practice getting on and off the floor. Maybe it's not particularly pretty, but you could do it. If I were to fall down, I wouldn't really necessarily want anyone to see me do it, but I could get it. I could get up. Great. That confidence automatically reduces your risk of falling. And then it gets you back out there living your life, right? You stop isolating yourself. You start living your life again, which in turn keeps you more mobile, keeps you more flexible, keeps you stronger, keeps you more socially and mentally engaged, and less likely of falling. So I want you to start focusing more on what you can control. Obviously, you can control certain conditions, right? Wearing good shoes, using an assistive device if you need it, avoiding, crazy terrains if you're not so well balanced, but also taking that next step to working toward improving your flexibility, improving your strength, improving your balance, and doing the skill over and over again to become more confident. These are all things that you can control. So why not take control so that you can remain as independent and as active as you can be? The more you practice, the more you learn, and the more you practice, the less anxiety you're going to feel. So what is your next step going to be? There are a few things that I can suggest. One is simply just exercise, right? Get out there, do some classes, maybe do some things online. You could join up and subscribe to my video library. There's some great exercises in there that could get you going. You could look up silver sneakers online. A lot of those things would be doable for you. Find an exercise program that works for you. If you need a little bit more hands-on or one-on-one, consider scheduling an appointment with me or with a therapist in your area. Talk to them about your fear of falling and how you want to be able to get on and off the floor. It's not going to necessarily happen overnight. It's a process, just like learning any other skill. But isn't it worth it in order to live your life to the maximum benefit? Because really, when you think about getting on and off the floor, it's not even just about falling, right? It's again about going outside and gardening, getting on the floor to play with grandchildren or your pets, being able to just do the things you want to do. Go to yoga class and not be afraid that you can't get back up off the floor. So many great things, really, that can come out of it. And I think you're worth it. Your independence is worth it. Your safety, your active life, your happiness, confidence, all the great things that come with improving your mobility. So please think about what your next step is. If you need my help, please reach out.
Thanks for joining us today. If this episode helped you learn something new, we hope you'll share it with someone who could benefit as well. Until next time, keep moving, stay strong, and take care of your body.